Day 171, and I think this video brings new meaning to the word non-negotiable. This is the first time I actually just fell asleep on the couch watching the Atlanta San Fran late game. And San Fran went up 20-10. I had San Fran just plus a half a point, and I had Christian McCaffrey over 65 yards, which he got with like 7 minutes left in the second quarter. And so once San Fran scored that touchdown, I guess I kind of just, checked out, and I woke up and Scott Van Pelt was talking talking about the World Series. So it's almost 1 a.m. and it's just one of those things. I took the dog out, tucked my daughter in. She has off tomorrow, and did a few things. And now it's time to come down once again, stay non-negotiable. It was a great day of football. As I've said previously, Sundays, if I don't get to make the video before the 1 o'clock games start, it's probably going to be a late video, and this I will be posting tomorrow, but I am making the video on Sunday night, although it's technically Monday. But for me, it's still staying non-negotiable. Day 171, the Eagles, big win today. Big win in more ways than one. It's a big win. First of all, it stops the 2-game losing streak, which is, this was one of those games. It's like, you don't know. I really didn't know what to expect. Minnesota is a solid team. They're not a great team, but they're a solid team. And if you don't play well, you're going to lose to Minnesota. And the Eagles played, in my opinion, their most complete game today. There still were a lot of, stagnant periods, especially on the offense, where I think they had 3 straight 3-and-outs after their opening touchdown drive. But they, and they made some plays that bad teams make. And, once again, sometimes I get caught up in my emotions a little bit. It's from, the houses that I grew up in with my grandpops yelling at the TV and stuff. And there were a couple of times today where I was just like, the Eagles are a bad team. And I think I told my daughter that they suck, especially after Jake Elliott missed that field goal. But to the Eagles' credit, they made some plays late, especially that 3rd and 13, was the biggest play of the game to me. They were up 21-19, and it was 3rd and 13. Minnesota had just kicked a field goal, and it looked like the Eagles were going to go 3-and-out, kind of like they have been the last couple of weeks, where just the second half, their offense has been just absolutely getting shut down. And I even said to everybody in the room, I'm like, when's the last time you saw the Eagles pick up a 3rd down that was longer than 10 yards? And sure enough, they picked it up. They got 14 yards on 3rd and 13. It was actually the first time that they had converted on a 3rd down of the day. It was their first 3rd down conversion of the day, and I think that was the 4th quarter. It was absolutely the 4th quarter, because then they went down and they wound up scoring a touchdown, making it 28-19. And then they were able to, after Minnesota kicked a field goal, then they actually did what winning teams do, which is when they get a chance to put the game away, they did it with their offense and didn't leave it up to the defense. So they went and they got the first down, although once again it wasn't pretty. They had to throw a deep ball on third down, but so there are some signs that I saw, some things that they did today that they haven't done in previous weeks. And so this was, for me, their most complete game that they've played the entire season, and it was a good win. And I think that next week that they're just going to get their revenge against the Giants, who they got crushed by last week. And anyone who watches football, I mean, epic collapse today by the Giants. That's why the Giants are the Giants. And when the Eagles lost to the Giants in the way they did last week, I was kind of feeling the way I was because the Giants are they're just that team who can pull defeat from the jaws of victory like no one else can. Up 19-0 going into the fourth quarter today against Denver, who is offensively challenged, is an understatement. And they allowed Denver to score 33 points in the fourth quarter. It's the most points ever scored in NFL history in the fourth quarter by a team being shut out through the first three quarters. So, Giants next week, good luck against the Eagles, because they're licking their lips right now. I know this was a segment, or just staying non-negotiable, talking about sports. I will say one thing. If you're here for, the Lions Den, which I'll mention in a second, but going through my list of reminders today, there was one reminder that hit me, and I've talked about it here over and over again, but everything is happening for you. And so I went down the list and I saw that. I'm like, everything's happening for you. And when you hear these phrases over and over again, they can become like just another phrase. It's like you hear it and you know it, but at the same time, the more you hear it, sometimes it loses its impact, because it's like it just becomes another phrase. But when I saw it today and I said it to myself, and I was like, everything is happening for me. And then I broke it down and I was like, okay, everything's happening for me. Everything is happening for me. And then I was like, every single thing that happens in my experience is for me. In other words, nothing that happens in your experience, in my experience, although it seems like we're having the same experience, we have different perspectives. So there's nothing that happens in your experience, nothing, absolutely nothing. When a person walks into the room, that is for you. Everything is for you. When you're sitting there watching TV, like I was today, there's hundreds of different channels that I could be watching. But in that moment, I am tuned to that frequency, whatever I'm watching. So whatever commercial comes on, whatever happens on that channel is for me. I'm supposed to be in that moment and treating that moment like it's for me. And I can pull whatever I want to from that moment. I can gain whatever wisdom because that moment is talking to me. I know I seem a little out there right now with the explanation, but it's the more this sinks in, And I live this today. When I started turning this phrase around and really driving it home, I was able to realize, wow, there were so many moments. Like, I'm going to give you an example right now. Like, my 2 picks at 4 o'clock were the Colts and the over in the Washington-Dallas game, which went over like really easy, and the Colts won really easy. And so I was treating everything like this is happening for me, and I was just flipping through the channels. I was flipping back and forth from the Eagles game to Red Zone. When the Eagles would go to a commercial, I would go to Red Zone. And so after the Eagles finished, I went to Red Zone, and then I went back to check on a game, and there was somebody on there, I think it was Rex Ryan, and he was talking about, I'm taking the Colts today. I wasn't watching the show, I just actually heard it for like a second, and he's like, my pick is the Colts. And I just treated that like, okay, that's for me. I needed to hear that at that second. I wasn't planning on taking the Colts, but I took the Colts. And the same kind of thing happened with Washington and Dallas. And then tonight, the same thing happened with San Fran and Atlanta. I'm like, I don't know who I'm taking in this game. And then I just happened to switch on Sunday Night Football after doing some things. And I believe it was Jason Garrett was saying, I got San Fran in this game. And they went, why do you have San Fran in this game? And he said, I'll give you 3 initials. CMC for Christian McCaffrey. And he basically said, like, he's tired of hearing about Bijan Robinson, and he's going to go off tonight. And Christian McCaffrey, and I said, okay, I guess I'm taking San Fran, and I'm taking Christian McCaffrey. I never play props, very rarely. But I was like, I guess I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey over yards. And as I said, he had the over in the rushing yards with 7 minutes left in the second quarter. And he wound up having his best game of the season. He hadn't even gone over 75 yards at all this year. I didn't know that. But if I was a statistics guy and I was picking, just looking at statistics and what people have done, I would have never took him. Why would I take him? He hasn't had a good game pretty much all year. Why would I think he's going to have a good game tonight? But when you realize everything is happening for you, like I did today, then it's just like following the breadcrumbs. And so there are certain days, even though this seems simple, there are certain days that I can do this. And then there are other days where I wake up and it's kind of like I forget and this is where it's like just kind of finding your footing. And I feel like everything is like this, and this is no different. All right, so Lions Den checked in last night. I think we had 4 people. I haven't really checked it. As I said, yesterday was college football, and I had a kind of a zone out day with that, just watching college football, and then today football. So I haven't responded to anyone who commented last night, but I believe it was Brent, Kate, Shadow Flare, and I think that might have been it. Maybe Nora, maybe Thankful. But that's going to be it for tonight. As I said, I was already sleeping, so this is a little bit of a second wind. Day 171 in the books. Take this video for what it's worth. I hope it helps in some way. And I will see you tomorrow, day 172. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all. Have a wonderful night.